In the year 1638, France waited anxiously for an heir. For more than 2 decades, King Louis XIII and Queen Anne of Austria had been childless. Whispers of doubt filled the court, and the future of the Bourbon dynasty seemed uncertain. But on September 5th of that year, a miracle arrived. A son was born. He was named Louis XIV, the gift of God. The kingdom rejoiced. Bells rang across Paris. Poets praised him as heaven's blessing, and the royal family felt secure once again. From his very first breath, Louis was no ordinary child. He was France's promise. Louis's childhood was wrapped in splendor, yet it was far from carefree. He grew up inside the walls of the Louvre Palace, surrounded by gold, velvet, and ceremony. Every moment of his young life was dictated by protocol. His meals, his lessons, even his games were watched and managed. Though he was loved, he often felt alone. The boy who belonged to everyone belonged to no one. Then, when Louis was just 4 years old, his world changed forever. His father, King Louis XIII, died. The crown of France passed to a child barely old enough to speak in full sentences. His mother, Anne of Austria, stepped forward as regent, ruling in her son's name. By her side was the clever and ambitious Cardinal Mazarin, who became both tutor and protector to the little king. But childhood as king was anything but peaceful. In 1648, rebellion broke out across France. It was known as the Fronde. The nobility, the magistrates, and even ordinary citizens rose against the crown, challenging the authority of the regent and her minister. For young Louis, it was terrifying. He was awakened by mobs shouting outside the palace. He was rushed through dark halls, forced to flee Paris with his mother, never knowing if the soldiers protecting them would hold the line. These memories cut deep. The boy king never forgot what it felt like to be powerless. He never forgot the fear of being at the mercy of his own people. That fear would one day shape his reign, fueling his determination to build a monarchy where rebellion would be impossible, and where the king's power would be absolute. Despite the unrest, Louis's education never faltered. Tutors taught him languages, theology, politics, and history. He was trained in horsemanship, fencing, and dance. Dance, in particular, became his passion, a way to embody discipline, grace, and control. At court performances, he shone on stage, already displaying the confidence that would mark his rule. Cardinal Mazarin taught him patience, reminding him that before he could rule others, he must learn to rule himself. These lessons, combined with hardship, prepared Louis for the destiny ahead. By his teenage years, France had weathered the storm of civil war. The rebellions were crushed, order was restored, and Louis began to understand his true role. He was not simply a king, he was the center of his nation. Like the sun itself, he would shine as the source of light and order, around which all of France would revolve. This was the childhood of Louis XIV, a miracle child, a frightened refugee, and finally, a young monarch rising from chaos. The boy who had suffered fear and exile was already shaping into the man who would become the Sun King. And this, of course, is only the beginning. In part 2, we follow Louis as he steps fully into his power, claiming his throne not as a boy, but as the most powerful ruler in Europe.